listening to Strange Shit Happens.
From the great America Pacific Northwest, greetings and welcome, my friends, to this week's edition of Strange Shit Happens in the News. I'm Sean Wharton. First, this week, we dive into the highly anticipated documentary, The Age of Disclosure, where government insiders finally break their silence on UFOs and what they claim is the, quote, biggest discovery in human history. Then we venture into the frozen tundras, a lab in Texas, where scientists have taken a giant leap toward de-extincting woolly mammoths by creating woolly mice. Yes, you heard that right. Tiny rodents with shaggy coats and an attitude toward the cold. In Ireland, a newly discovered fungus is turning spiders into real-life zombies, proving once again that nature has a seriously dark sense of humor. Meanwhile, recordings from the Mariana Trench reveal eerie ocean sounds that make it clear even the deep sea has a playlist, though it's a more haunted house than relaxing waves. Finally, a small town in Bolivia claims to have hosted an alien visitor resembling the infamous Chupacabra, leaving behind a trail of fire, mystery, and very confused chickens. Buckle up and prepare for a ride through the strange, the spooky, and the scientifically baffling. You won't want to miss this one. Now, before we get to the news, don't forget to like or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, or pass this podcast on to spread the word about our show. You can also follow us on X at strange_happens. We post news throughout the week, so follow us to stay on top of the latest. And we're also looking for stories from you, paranormal or otherwise. So visit us at www.strangeshithappens.com. That's strangeshithappens.com. And click the report an event button right there on the main page. You can report your event, whether it's a UFO sighting or some other strange occurrence, right there on the website. You can also leave us an audio message in your submission. Right? It's built right there into the form. So whether you want to talk or type, you can do both. So again, save it to your bookmarks. Visit strangeshithappens.com and give us a holler. And on that note, let's dive right in. The highly anticipated UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure, is set to premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival, and filmmaker Dan Farah is finally breaking his silence on the film's revelations. Unlike previous UFO documentaries, The Age of Disclosure exclusively features on-record interviews with 34 current and former senior members of the U.S. government, military, and intelligence communities. These experts share their direct knowledge of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, otherwise known as UAPs, with many boldly stating that, quote, non-human intelligent life not only exists but has been visiting Earth for a long, long time. According to Farah, none of the officials he interviewed are debating whether this phenomenon is real, only what to do about it, if you can imagine that. The documentary delves into an alleged 80-year cover-up of UFO activity, exploring burning questions such as how the crafts work, why they've crashed, who is covering this up, and what U.S. presidents actually know. The film suggests that the United States might face an intelligence failure on par with 9/11 if it doesn't address these phenomenon with more transparency and urgency. One of the film's most striking moments features Secretary of State Marco Rubio warning that a lack of imagination has led to past intelligence failures, from Pearl Harbor to 9/11, and could do so again if the UAP issue remains unaddressed. Farah took significant precautions while making the film, including keeping the project under wraps for 2.5 years and requiring all participants to sign non-disclosure agreements. While some officials declined to participate due to fears for their safety, those who did contribute believe it is in the public's best interest to understand the basic facts, namely, that we might not be alone in the universe. Farah believes his documentary could play a crucial role in encouraging the government to take the topic more seriously, citing multiple senators who suggested his film could be a game changer for public awareness. Despite the seriousness of the topic, Farah also acknowledges the irony of the situation. By creating a stigma around UFOs, the very officials who want to keep things quiet may have inadvertently created a new national security threat. The reluctance of the U.S. Scientific and academic communities to engage with the subject, compared to their counterparts in other countries, has left the U.S. at a disadvantage. As the age of disclosure aims to peel back the curtains on UAPs, it is clear that the film is more than just another UFO documentary. It is a call to action for both government and public discourse on one of humanity's greatest mysteries. And now the Age of Disclosure premieres at South by Southwest Film Festival this upcoming Sunday. In a scientific breakthrough that sounds like it was plucked straight from a sci-fi movie, researchers at Colossal Biosciences have taken significant steps towards bringing the woolly mammoth back from extinction. Their latest achievement? The creation of a new species called the woolly mouse, a genetically modified rodent sporting a fur coat that would make an Ice Age mammal proud. The biotech firm hopes this furry feat is one step closer to birthing a true woolly mammoth calf by 2028. The team at Colossal Biosciences identified 2 genes common to both mice and mammoths, including one responsible for the mammoth's iconic thick coat. By splicing these genes into ordinary mouse DNA, scientists managed to create a mouse that not only looks the part, but also metabolizes fats differently, making it more resistant to cold. The woolly mice are roughly the same size as regular mice, but with an unmistakably shaggy appearance. The only thing missing is a tiny set of tusks to complete the prehistoric look. While the woolly mouse doesn't exactly push the mammoth timeline forward, co-founder and CEO Ben Lamb described it as a, quote, massive validating point. The process involved cutting-edge genome editing techniques, including modifying mouse eggs and altering embryonic stem cells before implanting them into surrogate mice. The next step, seeing if these mini mammoths can withstand cold temperatures, a likely prelude to testing similar traits in their much larger future counterparts. The ultimate goal of Colossal Biosciences isn't just to recreate a lost species for science fiction thrills. The company believes a reborn woolly mammoth could play a vital role in restoring ecosystems and combating climate change by helping to revive the grasslands of the Arctic tundra. So, while the woolly mammoth might not be roaming Siberian steppes anytime soon, it's a tiny but crucial step toward a potentially mammoth impact on our world. In a discovery straight out of the horror movie, scientists in Ireland have uncovered zombie spiders infected by a newly identified fungus. Found in several cave systems, including the White Father's Caves on the Fermanagh Cavan border, this fungus doesn't just make spiders sick, it turns them into real-life marionettes. Using dopamine, the so-called happy chemical, the fungus overrides the spider's instincts, forcing it to leave its safe haven and perish in an exposed spot, where its body then spreads fungal spores like nature's own creepy confetti. Named after naturalist Sir David Attenborough, the fungus was first discovered in County Down during the filming of BBC Winter Watch in 2022. The fungus's tactics are reminiscent of the infamous fungi that zombified ants in the Brazilian rainforest, a story that inspired the hit video game and TV series The Last of Us. Thankfully, the only apocalyptic scenario here involves arachnids, and not humans, succumbing to this mind-controlling parasite. Researchers led by Dr. Harry Evans from the Center of Agriculture and Biosciences International have found the fungus prefers dark, damp, man-made structures like tunnels and cellars. Their work, published in Fungal Systematics and Evolution, showed that the fungus mainly targets 2 species of cave-dwelling spiders, both known for their reclusive habits and love of shadowy corners. Discovery might be alarming for the 8-legged locals, but experts assure us that human brains are safe, at least for now. To study the fungus, the team enlisted the help of a speleologist, or cave explorer, which sounds like the beginning of a low-budget horror film, but was, in fact, legitimate scientific research. While more study is needed to understand exactly how this fungus takes control, the good news is that it isn't poised to jump species and start a real-life Last of Us scenario. However, if your cellar starts filling up with spiders hanging from the ceiling in oddly displays, it might be time to call the professionals, or maybe even just like a screenwriter or something. I don't know if you're in Hollywood. Dr. Evans and his team continued to study the fungus, and while they caution that more research is needed, they are quick to point out that, for now at least, the zombie apocalypse remains purely fictional, unless, of course, you happen to be a spider in a damp Irish cave. In a story that proves the deep sea is just as unsettling as deep space, scientists back in 2016 captured the first ever audio recordings from the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Located 11 kilometers below the Pacific Ocean, Challenger Deep is the deepest point on Earth's surface, a place where sunlight doesn't dare to venture, and the pressure is a crushing 16,000 psi. You'd expect a silence as profound as the dark, but what researchers found was quite the opposite. A soundscape filled with eerie moans, rumbling earthquakes, and even the distant hum of passing ships. The recordings, captured by a titanium-encased hydrophone lowered to the trench by a team led by NOAA oceanographer Robert Dziak, revealed a surprisingly noisy environment. Sound travels exceptionally well underwater, turning the trench into a natural echo chamber. The hydrophone, which recorded continuously for 23 days, picked up everything from the unmistakable propeller noise of a boat nearly 11 kilometers overhead to the ominous roar of a magnitude 5 earthquake near Guam. The star of the audio show, however, was a haunting baleen whale call, its echoes drifting through the dark like a deep-sea ghost. For somewhere so inhospitable, the Mariana Trench is a hub of activity. The hydrophone also captured the sounds of a Category 4 typhoon passing above, adding to the undersea cacophony. The device itself had to be gently lowered to avoid shattering under pressure, a reminder that while we might be able to listen in on the ocean's deepest secrets, it's not exactly an open invitation to visit. While the recordings are chilling, they serve a broader purpose. NOAA hopes to establish a baseline for ambient noise in the deepest parts of the ocean. As human-made sounds increasingly infiltrate marine environments, understanding these soundscapes will help assess how noise pollution affects marine life, particularly species like whales and dolphins that rely on sound to communicate and navigate. Nearly a decade on, these recordings remain a reminder that the ocean's depths are as mysterious and eerie as ever. With plans to revisit the trench and even explore the Arctic's deep waters, researchers continue their quest into what Dziak calls the unknown reaches of inner space. So, if you're ever feeling brave, listen to those recordings. They're really interesting, but maybe do so while keeping the lights on. Residents of the Monte Aguado neighborhood in Santa Cruz, Bolivia, are claiming that they've had a close encounter of the truly strange kind. According to reports, a being with large eyes, three-fingered hands, and a striking resemblance to the legendary Chupacabra has been seen wandering the streets. The alleged alien sighting followed an ominous halo of light in the sky that, according to witnesses, seemed to spew fire as it descended to the earth. Naturally, this has left the community in a state of both fascination and fear. The story took on an even more unsettling tone as residents described the creature as appearing after a loud thunder-like noise echoed through the neighborhood. Parents are keeping a close eye on their children, as the visitor is rumored to have a particular interest in the town's youngest residents. Adding to the mystery, when the light in the sky vanished, it left behind circular burn marks in the grass, as if the lawn had been freshly branded by, an extraterrestrial landscaper. Local ufologist Javier Aliaga has been studying the paranormal for years and is calling for scientific experts to investigate the incident further. However, not everyone is ready to jump on the alien bandwagon. A psychologist who has assessed the situation suggested the community might be experiencing a case of collective stress, perhaps the kind that makes shadows look a bit more sinister and every stray dog a potential alien in disguise. While the experts debate whether this is a genuine close encounter or just a case of mass hysteria, the people of Monte Aguado remain on high alert. Whether they need to prepare for a scientific study or simply a good night's sleep remains to be seen, but for now, Santa Cruz might just be Bolivia's newest paranormal hotspot. Well, that's it. That's all I've got for this week. Don't forget to reach out if you see something unusual in the sky or someplace else, or if you have an interesting story to tell. You can reach us at strangeshithappens.com. Please like or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, or pass this podcast on to spread the word about our little show here. And until next time, keep your eyes to the sky and know that here on Earth and in the universe, we are not alone. For Strange Shit Happens in the News, I'm Sean Wharton.